Hello everyone. I am here today to talk a little bit about Bonsai and its functionality and integration with DeepLabCut. Now, those of you who are familiar with DeepLabCut, it is a phenomenal tool, allows you to train uh, machine learning, deep learning models to be able to detect different types of poses and to be able to identify different types of animal behaviors in the lab experiments. Now, I have been using that quite a lot. However, I've also recently learned about Bonsai, and I think it's a great tool that many people should know. However, when I was going through the motions of learning Bonsai, I must say it was a little bit challenging. Although Bonsai Deep Lab Cut community does a good job of introducing how to install, uh, what they do lack is then guiding people on how to extract information that they're looking for. And in many cases, just being able to detect poses and exporting them as a CSV file in a quick manner is all that's needed for many experiments. So today I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate with a small demo, how do you use Bonsai with DeepLabCut. Now, the prerequisites for this tutorial are that you become familiar with the how to install guide that is on the GitHub page, and then you can follow along with the rest of the tutorial. At some point, I might need to pause this tutorial because the OBS does take up some CPU, but hopefully that time will not come, and I can demonstrate how to use Bonsai with DeepLabCut exported model. So let's get started, and I'm going to go ahead and bring up the Bonsai. When you first open Bonsai, you are going to see two panels come up. If this is your first time, make sure you go over to Manager Packages and type in here DeepLabCut. And you will see two libraries that pop up. Make sure you download both of these. Take a screenshot of my screen if you need to and keep this for your reference. Make sure you download both of these libraries. So if you're new to Bonsai, you're going to obviously go ahead and open up a new file. Now there are several options. First option is that you bring in live video to be able to analyze it. The second option is you have recorded your experiments with your animals in, and you want to just run your analysis, DeepLabCut analysis, on top of the recorded videos. In my case, I go with the second option. So for my second option, I go under Source, Vision, and over here I'm going to do File Capture. If you are using a live camera, make sure you pick this camera option. In my case, I'm not using that, so I'm going to go with File Capture. And this is where I'm going to double click on this and load in my video. Okay, so now the video is loaded in, and you can see that over here. This is the name of my video and the path to it. You can manipulate these two parameters. The first one is the playback rate. I'm just going to go ahead and set that to 1000, and then the starting position to be 1000 as well. And this is just arbitrary for the sake of this tutorial. Yeah, make sure that you pick the starting position to match your experimental conditions. So let's say if you are doing some things in the beginning, first 5 seconds of your video, and your hands and your feet are inside of the video, or whatever body part of the experimenter is inside the video, and you want to get rid of it, make sure you change the starting position of the video to reflect whatever conditions that you need. In order for me to visualize the video that I've just loaded in, I'm just going to press start and double click, and this is the video. Now it is going really fast, and that is because I set the playback rate to be 1000. If I set the playback rate to, let's say, 100, you will see that it significantly reduces the speed at which the video plays. Right, so if I change this again to 1000, that would speed this up. Now you can fiddle around with this. It depends on what type of a GPU you have, and quite frankly, I wouldn't go above anything like 500. But it does become taxing for your GPU. Okay, so now that the video has been loaded in, next thing is we bring in the DeepLabCut. So under transform, if you haven't successfully installed the libraries, you will see DeepLabCut appear. In my case, I'm going to use the pose predict pose and connect my file capture to the pose predict. This is where you need two files. One is the poseconfig.yaml file, which you will find in your exported DLC model folder, and the other one is .pb file. So if you double click on the pose predict, it's going to ask you to open up your, I believe it's .pb file. In my case, I have it in my downloaded folder, and this is the .pb file for me. You might have it in a different location, so make sure you go to that. And you will notice that that file has now been added under the model file name. The other thing that we need is we need the poseconfig file. And poseconfig file is going to be in the same folder that you export your model from. Other two things to pay attention to here is the minimum confidence. This is the threshold, the optional confidence threshold that you can set for the detection of different body parts. In my case, I'm just going to use a 0.5 cutoff. Anything below that threshold will be discarded and not saved. The other good thing that they have done is that they have used the scale factor that resizes video frames for inferences. So if you have a GPU or a CPU that is not capable of handling large videos, you might want to reduce the scale. And I believe the default for DeepLabCut training, the model training, is 0.5. So when you're training your DeepLabCut model in the poseconfig file, you have the option of changing the scale factor so that your model gets trained on a lower resolution as well as a higher resolution. And I think the range is 0.5 upward of 1.25 scale. So in my case, nothing lower than 0.5, although I think I have trained my model to be able to handle 0.2 scale, but just for the sake of safety, let's not do less than 0.5. Okay, so the pose predict, the module is set. The other module that we need is going to be in the sync and under IO, I think. Yeah, there it is. We want the CSV output. So I just dragged and dropped it. And over here, you want to set the path to where you want your CSV file to be saved. So I'm just going to go ahead and create a new folder called Bonsai CSV tutorial. And under here, I'm going to create the CSV file. Okay. Make sure you have this either on or off. This will have the headers on top of it. Will put a row with header on the first row. If you have preference of how you want your list to be separated, you can add that here. I don't have a preference, And I do want this to be overwritten just in case I need to restart my video. I don't want to have to uh, continuously keep track of different files. I just wanted to overwrite the same file in case I restart the experiment. So that's about it. Now I'm going to go ahead and press play, and the file capture comes up. I also want to be able to see the poses as the LC model is analyzing them. So on the left is the original video, on the right are the poses that are overlaid. As you can see, it does a pretty nice job of keeping things in real time and giving me some information. Now there are lots of other modules that you can incorporate in there. You can create bounding areas and extract certain features from the ROIs. If you know how to design ROIs in Bonsai, you can do a lot of different things. But yeah, in a nutshell, this is how you get started with Bonsai and DeepLabCut. So I hope you guys enjoy and hope you guys create some really fun, interesting workflows. Feel free to share them in the comments if you like. And I would love to hear more from you guys. Please leave a comment and like, and see you in the next one.